A warm welcome to the LB Finance Annual Report for the financial year ending 31st March 2022. I present you the Chairman's Statement Content 2021-22 Annual Report, which I will narrate on behalf of Mr. Prasanna Godewatta, Chairman. Optimism for the future. As the threat of COVID-19 gradually abated and economic activity picked up, we breathed a collective sigh of relief to see the country slowly returning to normalcy in 2021. Agriculture, industry and services sectors all showed notable improvements. It was also very encouraging to observe the tourism and construction sectors firming up. Most importantly, the country's financial systems remain broadly stable, with banks and financial institutions playing an anchoring role, ensuring overall system stability. However, the Sri Lankan economy reached a critical juncture amidst the acute shortage of dollar liquidity in the latter part of 2021, again pushing the country into unstable ground in 2022. Stakeholder value creation. All our stakeholders will be interested to note that LBF produced solid results for the financial year 2021-22, notwithstanding headwinds. Group revenue at 30 billion rupees was a firm 1% higher than the previous year, while profit after tax improved by 25% year-on-year to 8.66 billion rupees as on 31st March 2022. 6.55 billion rupees was paid as tax in the financial year 2021-22. All taxes due were paid on time. Given our all-round performance, LBF's credit rating was again reaffirmed by Fitch Ratings, in which the company has secured the A- Lanka Stable Outlook rating. Meanwhile, sharing our success with the stakeholders, total dividend 2021-22 will be 5 rupees per share, interim of 3 rupees per share and final 2 rupees per share, which reflect to a payout ratio of 31.98%. As we were preventing from paying a cash dividend in 2020 due to the CBSL ruling, we proceeded to make these corrections in the current financial year. In all, a total of 3,878.40 million was paid to shareholders in financial year 2021-22. Similarly, we remain firm in honouring our commitments to all other stakeholders as well. Digital transformation. LBF's journey of digital transformation is perhaps the most significant evolutionary milestone in the company's history to date. Since first making its entry to the digital financial services sphere in 2020 with the launch of LB Cash-in Mobile Wallet app, we have made some giant strides in reasserting our dominance in digital front-end services within the local NBFI sector. With LB Cash-in Mobile becoming one of the most frequently downloaded financial services apps in Sri Lanka, we have now surpassed 100,000 plus downloads, which only goes to show the strong customer acceptance of the Cash-in Mobile proposition. By extending our digital transformation goals to reform our back-end systems agriculture, we have been able to generate efficiency improvements across our operations, which I believe is the reason for the steady decline in LBF's cost-to-income ratio over the past 3 years. Customer engagement. The LBF board has always identified the importance of staying well connected to customers. Our preferred modes of customer engagement up until COVID-19 was primarily through a combination of ATL and BTL activities. However, our shift towards digital engagement since the pandemic has transformed our perspective on what it means to be connected. I must admit, being able to tailor our social media engagements to appeal directly to different customer segments has allowed us to strengthen our customer intimacy and build loyalty within each customer domain. Having leveraged the power of social media over these past 2 years, we are now able to connect with customers and the wider community more often and more effectively than ever before. Seeing as how social media is increasingly being used as a channel of inquiry, we are now looking into the possibility of improving the integration between our social media platforms and LBF's core IT systems in order to enhance the overall stakeholder experience. This will be a key focus going forward. Governance and stewardship. Strong governance and stewardship have remained critical success factors throughout LBF's journey. The board's commitment to good governance is driven by sound management principles and the desire to pursue continuous and ongoing improvements to derive fit-for-purpose governance frameworks. In the year under review, the LBF board enacted its commitment to continuous improvement by strengthening its governance approach to key areas. One of the key efforts in this regard was the Anti-Fraud Culture Initiative to establish a credible mechanism to support ongoing monitoring of fraud risk at operational level. We also began studying globally accepted good governance practices and seeking out expert opinions to help formulate a standardized mechanism for evaluating the performance of LBF's board committees. The Corporate Governance Report on page 224 contains more descriptive information on the work put in during the year. On a related note, LBF won the Silver Award for the Best Corporate Governance Disclosure at the 56th CA Sri Lanka Annual Report Awards. Sustainable Development. LBF has always prided itself in its role as a key enabler of sustainable development. While our work in the past was centered largely on social responsibility initiatives, more recently we have adopted a strategic approach to sustainability based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The 17 SDGs and the sub-accompanying targets have provided greater clarity for how LBF can contribute, both directly and indirectly, towards addressing environmental, social, and governance issues through our operations. As a financial services institution, our main contribution comes from supporting our customers to steer financial flows towards sustainable purposes such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, innovation, entrepreneurship, and women's empowerment, thus directly contributing to SDG 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 13. While it is difficult to monetize the value of our impact towards each goal, it is safe to assume that LBF's SMEs dominated lending portfolio, which grew by 18% year-on-year in the financial year 2021-22, continues to make a strong direct impact to one or more of these SDGs. Our social responsibility initiatives also gathered momentum in this past year, with LBF investing 12.94 million rupees in CSR activities, the highest investment undertaken in any year since the inception. Through our social responsibility projects that focus on uplifting community education and healthcare systems, along with projects undertaken to protect the environment, we are making an indirect contribution to the remaining SDGs. Focus areas for the next financial year. As we move into what can only be assumed to be a period of deep economic uncertainty, I want to reassure LBF stakeholders that your company will take a cautious approach towards strategy execution. Given the volatility expected in the coming months, our focus will be more on managing short-term downside risks. Looking beyond to the next 12 months, the board will remain hyper-vigilant of evolving conditions, particularly the forex liquidity crisis, rising interest rates, inflationary pressures, and other potential disturbances that may undermine LBF's long-term growth prospects. That being said, I am confident that our strong digital and human capabilities, well-founded risk fundamentals, and customer-centric business model will create a solid platform to scale up in the years ahead. Appreciation. As I end the recap of the events for the financial year 2021-22, I would like to first and foremost thank my predecessor, Mrs. Anandi Gunawardana. Thank you for your able leadership in steering LBF through some of the toughest times in Sri Lanka's recent history. I wish you well. To my colleagues on the board, thank you for your support and cooperation in helping me to settle into my role as chairman of LB Finance PLC. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to Team LB for the tendency and discipline they have demonstrated in ensuring LBF's continued success. Let me conclude by thanking our customers, shareholders, and other stakeholders for their trust and long-standing support. I invite you to stay invested in LBF's future as well.